Happy Valentine's and welcome back to my channel. Today we are making these gorgeous rose candy apples that are an eye-catching red metallic color and look like an enchanted rose. I'm going to show you all the tips and tricks to achieving bubble-free candy apples, as well as coloring the candy recipe and an easy way to make the rose shape. They are perfect for Valentine's, a Beauty and the Beast party, or for any rose lover, and are the most delicious rose that you can actually eat. So be sure to keep on watching! From cleaning the apples to coloring the candy and molding the shape, these are all the ingredients you will need for every process. And when you are shopping for apples at the grocery store, I recommend small Granny Smith, which are also called lunchbox apples because they should fit in a lunchbox. When used with a smaller mold, it creates a look of neat, seamless petals and a rounder shape. The mold I have here is from Amazon, and when you fit the apple inside, it is snug and will give you the best result as compared to a larger apple. I prefer not to use a larger mold with a larger apple since the apples get much bigger after dipping and molding, so I stick to a small mold and small apple. The first important step is cleaning the waxy outer layer. As you can see, the apples look like they woke up on the wrong side of the bed with a super dull appearance. They are not supposed to look pretty when prepared for the candy. All you are going to do for the cleaning method is boil a pot of water and add in 2 tablespoons of white vinegar and 2 tablespoons of baking soda. The baking soda is a bit crazy and splashes a bit, so just be careful when pouring that in. You can go ahead and place the apples inside the boiling water for 10 seconds. Be sure to count to 10 while giving them a good turn, and just think of it as playing a game. Avoid going beyond those 10 seconds because we don't want to cook the apples. After the 10 seconds are up, immediately transfer the apples into a bowl of cool water to submerge them for a few minutes. The goal is to remove as much of the wax as possible. If you take a look inside the water, there's not much in there yet, so we are going to repeat another round of turning in the boiling water, but this time for 5 seconds. Being thorough with the cleaning step ensures you achieve a beautiful, bubble-free candy apple. Now you can see the difference of all the white particles of wax in the water after doing the second round. It's really an eye-opener to see what's really on these apples. Next, I'm drying them off really well with a towel. They literally should be squeaky clean. And be sure to go around the top by the stem part and bottom where any excess water may be hiding. Once completely dried, allow the apples to sit on the counter for 48 hours. This gives the sap a chance to come out of the small pores in the skin. And when the 48 hours have passed, I'm taking a paper towel and wiping off all the sap and doing a double dry with the towel as well. Then it is time to insert your wooden candy apple sticks. I find it helps to hammer them into the core with a mallet. Keep in mind these apples are smaller, so go as far as you can go without going through the other side. I will be sure to link the sticks and all the supplies I use in the description box below. I also really love these gold straw covers to add an elegant touch over the wooden sticks. When sliding them on, I lightly tap the top part with a mallet to secure them to the sticks. That way they don't fall off when dipping the apples in the candy. That would not be fun. Sometimes hammering the sticks in causes a little bit of juice to fly out, so wipe one last time with your towel from top to bottom. Then the apples are all ready for the candy mixture. Start by clipping your candy thermometer to a deep pot, making sure it doesn't directly touch the bottom. I can't stress enough to use a deep pot. This can bubble and overflow. I'm dropping in 3½ cups of granulated sugar along with 1 cup of water and 1 cup of light corn syrup. For this, I always use the Cairo brand syrup and the Domino brand granulated granulated sugar since they are high quality ingredients, and the only time we are going to mix this at all is before turning on the heat. Give that a mix until well combined, and I like to take a brush and a little bit of water to dip the brush and go around the edges where you see any grains of sugar. Later on, that will crystallize and burn on the sides, and we don't want that to fall into the candy mixture. Now we are all ready to bring this to medium heat until it reaches 300 degrees. The key is to do this gradually, low and slow. For the stages around 100 to 150, there won't be much bubbling activity. Then around 200, it really picks up and the bubbles begin to get out of control. That mass of thick bubbles clear up around 225. The temperature will linger here for some time. Just feel free to slightly adjust the heat a few notches higher and lower again if it's rising too much, as long as you don't bring it up too high for too long, or that will burn the candy mixture. Just be patient and keep your eyes glued to the thermometer for that 300 degrees, which is the hard crack stage, and immediately remove from the heat. To get your candy thermometer out of the way, place into a cup of water, and the fun part is the metallic red gel coloring. This is an airbrush color from Chef Master. Only mix in 1 tablespoon of that. I also recommend wearing gloves and staying back, because when you mix in that coloring, the candy always bubbles a lot. Come on, candy, don't be in a bad mood. You're going to look so pretty. Also, make sure you shake up that bottle of the color really well for an amazing color like this. First, I'm angling the pot and swirling the apple from front to back, and once coated, turn back in the reverse direction back to front. Then quickly, with the pot right next to the mold, let the apple drip into the inner bud of the rose. It doesn't need to be perfect, and gently place the apple up straight without pressing too hard. Then after a few seconds, let go. It is important to coat the apple with that double flip technique, because in the beginning, the candy is more thin and you need enough of it to drip into the mold, or your rose won't be full enough because you won't have enough candy for the apple. And also make sure you don't let it drip too much in the pot. You want to save as much as possible for the mold. Now that we have done most of the roses, the candy starts getting thicker towards the end. You will definitely feel the difference when you dip, so only 1 quick swirl is needed without a second flip. Otherwise, it can make your rose look much different than the others, but the candy ribbons beautifully into the mold. I know it's hard to wait, but I let these set for at least 10 minutes without moving the mold, and gently peel the bottom away a little at a time to prevent smudging or disturbing the candy. And look at how magical and enchanted these candy apples came out. To finish them off, it's completely optional. I have a faux rose and cut the green sepal off the bottom to slide right onto the gold straw covers for an even more realistic and delicate look. And another idea is to put the apples in a vase. This one from Michael's Craft Store is an octagon-shaped terrarium that I line the inside with floral foam, and it's able to fit 3 of the candy apples without them touching. It is such a memorable yet tasty gift. But keep in mind, you want to dip the candy apples the day that you are planning to eat them so that they don't break down, especially with airbrush coloring or any humid weather. I hope you guys enjoyed seeing this fun rose candy apple tutorial and you learned some new helpful techniques. Like this video if you did. It's Christina here. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.